Hey friends, it's Coop from Garage Gym Reviews, and today I'm going to be reviewing and comparing two of the highest end, best adjustable benches that are on the market. The Rogue Manta Ray and the Rep BlackWing. Both adjustable benches, both very feature filled, vary in price. If you're somebody that's looking for what's the best adjustable bench on the market, these are two that you should consider. If you'd like to see me compare these to others or like to see a new adjustable bench roundup, because it's been a little bit where we bring all of them in-house and compare all of them in depth honestly, let me know in the comments. Also, before I get into this, which one do you think is the best? Which one do you think I'm gonna choose? The Rep BlackWing or the Rogue Manta Ray? All right, let's get into it. All right, before I get into this, a couple things. One, these were sent to us so we could review them and give an honest review. I've actually done individual reviews on both of these. If you'd like to see those, we'll put some links below the like button. We'll also have them on the site. But if you'd like to see those where I just go fully in depth in those, you can find them. But I said in those videos, I was gonna do a comparison. So, because I'm a man of my word. We're gonna do that now. Also, if you'd like to purchase any of these, I'll put two links below the like button where you can do so. The companies will pay us a small commission. Doesn't increase the cost you pay, but does allow me to keep buying benches. Okay, let's get into it. First off, I have these in categories, and I'm basically gonna go through and talk about each one, how they compare to each, and then pick a winner. Some of these categories, there's not like a really clear winner, but I will say at the end of the video, I'm gonna give a clear winner. I hate videos when it's like, we're gonna do a comparison and they're both good, buy both. No, I'm gonna tell you this one is better than this one, and these are who I think each is for. But just one thing overarching, both of these benches are very good. Both can be expensive, but both are top of the line, premium, really well done benches. If you're looking for the best, there are others out there I'd consider, but if you're looking where money's no object, you just want, this one is really, really good for my home gym. These are two you should consider. Okay, let's start with dimensions. These benches are both boats. There's no way around it. These things are large benches. These things are huge. These things are relatively large in comparison to the competition. Now, if that throws you off, like neither of these benches are gonna be one for you. In fact, for my home gym, the bench that I have in my garage gym is the Iron Master bench. And the reason being is because it's compact, easy to move around. If you're looking for a bench that is easy to move around, like just really easy, you don't have to think about it, it's lightweight, it also doesn't take up a ton of space, these probably aren't for you. But if you're one that wants a ton of stability, these benches are ones you should consider. So for the Rogue Manta Ray, 57 inches long, 24.75 inches wide, so that's really the feet. The pad is actually 12 inches wide, and then 17.5 inches tall. The height is within the IPF spec, as is the Rep BlackWing. Really the biggest difference is the length on these. So that one's 57 inches, but the Rep BlackWing is 59.5 inches, which 57 inches is already really long, but nearly 60 inches is even longer. Wow, scientific analysis there, 2.5 inches longer. But the other thing to consider is the weight. So the Rogue Manta Ray is actually one of the heaviest benches on the market, but one thing we've started to test is what I'm calling the feel weight. So this means, what does it feel like 3 inches off of the ground? That's gonna be like the heaviest point. So we take a luggage scale, we lift the bench up 3 inches off the ground, and then what's that weight? That's the weight that really matters, because nobody, I hope not, is bear hugging these things, picking them up and moving them around. That's why they have wheels. So really what matters is how heavy it is on the front, because you can have a 140 pound bench, but that doesn't mean you're lifting 140 pounds when you're moving it. So we tested that on both of these. Despite the Rep bench being lighter overall by 9 pounds, it's actually 10 pounds heavier at the feel weight. So you're like 131 pounds, that's lighter than the Rogue Manta Ray. It must be lighter when you're using it. It's not, it's actually heavier, it's 10 pounds heavier. The reason for that is because so much of the weight is on the front end. So I just want to make that clear when I'm talking about the dimensions and kind of how it is to move around, all that sort of stuff. I'm considering all of that. So in reality, I'm going to talk more about the heaviness on the front end, the feel weight later on in a different category, the portability category, the movement category. But for this one, I would say it's kind of a tie. They're pretty similar in overall footprint. There's a couple things to watch out for depending on where you're gonna put it, because the Rep one is a little bit longer, but it's also a little bit shorter, which I actually prefer. 17 inches for me is like perfect for driving through. So because of that, I just say this one's a tie. Okay, then to assembly. Home gyms, these are bolt together benches. Assembly matters. I talked to Assembly Sam, the guy who's assembled more benches probably than just about anybody. He said that the Rogue Manta Ray came in 3 different boxes. The Rep one, all you had to do was bolt the feet on and then bolt the pads on. The Rogue Manta Ray took quite a bit more time. So for this one, Rep wins on the assembly time. Then we have the adjustability. These are both full featured, very adjustable benches. You have multiple ways to adjust them. They can both do decline. Rep can actually do a true decline, meaning you don't have to put leg rollers in it to do a decline. You do for the Rogue Manta Ray, although you can add leg rollers as well to the BlackWing. The Manta Ray has 10 different angles for the back pad using a ladder system. It's actually a really nice ladder system. They actually internalize the adjustment system. So they just cut out the ladder within the frame, which is pretty cool. Most of them bolt on like the Rep BlackWing. I love the fact that they cut it in and then they coat it with UHMW plastic. It's very secure, adjusts very quickly. This seat pad is also adjustable using a ladder system. The back pad actually has 10 adjustable angles. Seat pad has 5. The back pad for the Rogue goes from 0 to 85 degrees. The seat pad goes from -20 up to 35 degrees. The Rep one has more adjustments. And do you want more adjustments? I mean, some of you might, but overall, Rep has 12 back pad adjustments, going from -8 degrees, so it can decline in the position up to 85 degrees. And then the seat pad has 6 angles from -10 up to 45. So that even has like a higher angle for incline, which many of you may prefer over a shorter one. And then one of the ways that they're able to do that is due to the zero gap system that's on the front of the seat pad that allows the seat pad to adjust forward and back, so you have zero gap between the back pad and seat pad no matter what angle you're at. Now both of these are using handles for adjustments. The back pad on the Rep actually has a knurled handle. It's stainless steel, looks pretty good. There's a knurled handle on the front as well. The Rogue one does have a knurled handle on the front, but it's not like a barbell, it's not stainless, it's very passive, it's just okay. But on the back, it's just a normal steel handle. So overall, adjustability seems pretty clear. For me, it goes to Rep. It has a true decline position, and I think that's like the real deal breaker. Having a true decline position for adjustability makes it a true FID bench. Yes, the Manta Ray is an FID bench. However, you have to have the leg roller, which is another $200 to an already expensive bench. And personally, I would prefer to do declines, even if it's at just -8 degrees on a regular bench without having to flip it around. So for that reason, Rep wins this one. Then to stability. Like I already said the weight of these, I said the dimensions. These are both extremely stable benches. That comes at a cost. They're a little bit annoying to move around because they're so heavy, but a really heavy bench with wide back feet and also both of them having a front plate out front. That's why they're called their names. The Rogue Manta Ray has a plate that looks like a Manta Ray. The Rep BlackWing has a plate that looks like a BlackWing. What is a BlackWing? I don't know, but it has something that goes out to the side. No companies have come out with something like that until now, and both of them come out with it kind of at the same time. It's very nice because it doesn't prevent you from getting your feet under the bench when you're arching, and it does provide extra stability. So stability-wise, which is something that really matters for adjustable benches, especially for home gym owners that are using this as their only bench, because you'll be using it for incline, flat, also rows. But a lot of people, myself included, use these benches for chest pads when you're doing rows with cable machines or curls or anything like that, that can pull the bench forward. Because of that, having a very heavy, very stable, very grippy bench to the floor matters. And for that reason, it's a tie for this one. They are both very heavy. They're both very stable. I will say the stability on the Rep back pad is more stable. The Rogue one, there's a little bit looser tolerances, side to side sway. The reality is when you're actually using it though, it doesn't move at all. Neither move at all. They only move when they're off weighted, and the Rogue one does move side to side. So if you're looking at just like the minutia of the stability, the Rep one could maybe be a little bit more stable, but in use, they're the same. They are very stable. Then to the portability and storage, both of these and pretty much every adjustable bench that's gonna come out of the market for the home gym market should have this, and that is being able to stand up. Both of these, despite being as tall as my house, can stand up, no problem. But the problem is, because they're so tall, they can both fall over. I would say the Rep one is more likely to fall over. This isn't like a worry I have. Like I've got 4 kids running around the garage. If I stand these up, Like, I'm not worried about them hitting them and falling. I put it up against a wall just to be sure. But I would say because the rep one has so much weight on the top end because of the zero gap, it's just a little bit top heavy. It's more likely to fall. That said, both of them are portable. Both of them can be stowed away. The Rogue one does have better wheels. Like, if we're just like really detailing it out, Rogue's wheels on this are absolutely sick. They're actually injected molded and have their logo in them with like this red color outline. They're just really nice. They're wheels, it's not a huge deal. But I take my benches out of the garage and into the garage, so being able to go over matting does matter. Reps ones, they're using regular hockey wheels. They're nice too, not a huge difference. But the reason I would give this particular category to Rogue is because the fuel weight on the front is 10 pounds less, despite being a heavier bench. So you have the extra stability of the weight of the bench, but it's 10 pounds lighter on the fuel weight to move around. So because of that, I'd say Rogue wins that category. Then quality. Both of these are extremely high quality. Rogue's is made in the USA, Reps is imported. Rogue's, like, their quality is some of the best amongst any fitness company. They're making pretty much all this stuff in-house. So everything from the stitching to the padding to the welding, which are just very clean, consistent robotic welds. Like, everything about the Rogue bench is just extremely well done. Now, that's not to downplay what Rep's doing. Rep's quality has continued to improve. Their powder coating is getting better. Still, I don't think their powder coat is as good as Rogue. However, Rep does have colors, 6 colors actually on this bench. Rogue has every color you can imagine, so long as it's black, so 1. But when you compare the overall quality, although I love the stainless steel features, the knurling, all that sort of stuff that's on the Rep, generally the quality, the fit and finish on Rogue is still better. So I would say Rogue by quality, but not a lot. Like, the quality is very close, and there's actually some features that I vastly prefer on the Rep, such as the stainless handle that's knurled like a barbell on the front, the stainless handles on the side. Both have laser cut everything, no stickers. I love that that's kind of the standard now for these, like nobody's using stickers. I think I had some part to play in that. But generally, I would say they're pretty close, but I'd say Rogue by a hair. Then we have padding. You've got the Rogue Manta Ray, which is using the same grabber vinyl that they're using on the Thompson Fat Pad, which has been my favorite forever. Rep is using their new Clean Grip vinyl, which is vastly better than the previous vinyl and is very close to Rogue's. Like, both of these, the padding is very firm yet comfortable compared to, say, the Prime adjustable bench that's just too soft. These ones are not overly firm where they're uncomfortable, but you still have a firm base to push from. The vinyl is thick, really well done. Generally, they are both extremely close. Rep would beat Rogue if Rogue was not using their Thompson Fat Pad vinyl, the grabber vinyl, and this is the first one that's used this vinyl. Padding on both is very close. I would give it to Rogue just because I don't want to give it a tie for everything, and because the vinyl that they're using on this, I do like better than the Clean Grip, although by very little, not a ton. So they're both extremely close on the padding, but I would give Rogue to this one. Then we have the performance. This is a tie as well. Both of these perform extremely well. Both have a lot of adjustability. I will say I like Rep's seat pad adjustability. It comes up with a pop pin that you don't actually have to pull. You can just pull it up, and then you have to use the pop pin to push it down. I think that's a cool feature. The zero gap, I can take it or leave it at times. I don't like having a bunch of extra stuff to adjust. I like having just a close gap, which the Rogue one does. So overall though, during use, when you're using them, pressing, pulling, anything like that, performance is very similar amongst them and very high. Okay, last one, which is value. This is really where the rubber meets the road. What's the value? What's the price? Okay, when you're looking at the Rogue Manta Ray, it's over $1,000 including shipping. So to me, in the Midwest, beautiful country, $1,030 including shipping. Does not include the leg roller. If you want the leg roller for declines, you're gonna have to add another $200. When you're looking at the Rep BlackWing, $600 with free shipping. So I've gone through this, and a lot of these, without me just being incredibly critical, are very similar over the top. When we're talking about the padding, the adjustability, the portability, the weight of them, all that sort of stuff, they are very close. I'm getting very critical when I'm comparing these. If I had these benches side by side and you told me the price on them, let's say I was in Sears, Roebuck, and I was gonna buy 2 benches back in the 60s, which one would I buy? Rep wins, by far. $600 versus $1,000. That's not to downplay the Manta Ray. The Manta Ray is a great bench. It really is. But is it better than the Rep, not including price? Maybe. Doesn't have the built-in decline without the leg roller. It does have very good quality and is incredibly stable, partly due to the frame welding. But man, I have a hard time even saying that one's better. I think they're very close. So for me, in my house, actually I'm not gonna put either of these in my garage because they're too heavy. But if you're looking for a very stable, very strong bench and you don't wanna spend $1,000, the Rep, without a doubt. If made in the USA matters to you so much that you're willing to spend 400 extra bucks, then obviously go with the Manta Ray. But man, these are incredible benches. I love to see the innovation that's happening in this space. I think they're just competing and this is just better for everybody. Can't wait to see what comes out next. But I do think, just be honest, the Rep one is the better value, better overall bench for most people. Okay, what do you think? If you're gonna buy a bench for your garage gym, and these are the two you're looking at, which one are you going with? Or do you think there's a third competitor, somebody else, that you think is better than both of these, both for value, quality, everything like that? Let me know in the comments. This has been Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. I'll see you next time. Peace.